Our new program, Cars Plus, reminding you to put your phone down while driving. Distractions won't get you there. Heads up, Guam. IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurants, always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Now on Prime Time, GPD is asking for your help in locating a man wanted for the sexual assault of a 13-year-old girl. Plus, this morning at the CSC, closing arguments are heard in the State Historic Preservation Officer Linda Uggins case. And with no school resource officers in the public high schools, cops offer aid to the Guam Department of Education.
Hafaday and good evening, everyone. A young girl was sexually assaulted in Dededo, and police are asking for your help in cracking the case. Chris Barnett has more.
The Guam Police Department is asking the public to help catch a suspect wanted for the sexual assault of a young girl on Loretta Street in Dededo. According to GPD police reports, the girl was walking from Papa's store around 8 p.m. on Monday when an unknown man grabbed her from behind, pulled her into the jungle, and sexually assaulted her. During the assault, the girl was able to break free and run home. Dededo Mayor Melissa Savars lives just a couple blocks away from where the assault took place. And she tells KUAM residents were shocked by the attack and helped police search for the suspect on Monday night.
The guys from the neighborhood were all in the different jungle areas with the police looking for anybody that they can find, especially when we found out that it was a very young girl.
The girl was transported to Guam Memorial Hospital for treatment and care on Monday evening. Meanwhile, the male suspect, described as possibly being Chuukese with a slim build, standing 5'7", possibly in his early 30s with a dark complexion and having a mustache. The suspect was last seen wearing dark clothing. Today, Mayor Savars and her staff began clearing private lots on West San Antonio Avenue and Loretta Street where jungle is overgrown. She tells us the victim lives just 500 feet away from Papa's store and she was walking back home when she was assaulted. While Mayor Savars said she shouldn't be clearing private property, she tells us she's doing so to protect the public.
This is private property. There's probate issues with this family. Same, I don't know whose private property owns that property. This is private property. So what we've done is we're taking it upon ourselves for the safety.
Residents we talked to in the area said it's common for men to drink in these jungle areas. Ferdinand Mendoza lives across the street from one of the areas the mayor cleared. He said he's had to call the police a few times because drunk men have passed out in the middle of the road. Once, a drunk man fell asleep leaning against the fence of Mendoza's house. Mendoza told us the area he lives in is not safe, and he got emotional when he spoke about the assault of the girl.
I feel sorry about the family and about the girl. She's just only 12 years old, It's very disturbing and disgusting.
GPD detectives were also in the area combing the jungle for possible clues. If you have any information about the assault or the suspect, call them at 472-8911 or 475-8615-7. Information can also be submitted anonymously through Guam Crime Stoppers tip line at guamcrimestoppersweb.com. The area where the girl was assaulted is a school zone, and while we were there, students were walking along the side of the road. Mayor Savars is concerned about this and pleads with villagers to follow her advice.
My message out there is if they can, buddy them up with someone, a neighbor who walks the same area, and walk together. Don't walk alone.
For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
Defendant Rusty Rosal faces charges of aggravated assault as a second-degree felony with a special allegation for possession or use of a deadly weapon. According to court documents, it was on November 7th when the defendant committed the offense. As we've reported, Rosal and his cousin Stanley Sulik were drunk in the streets of Tamuning playing with a machete when Rosal slashed Sulik in the left leg. Sulik was rushed to GMH and passed away the following day. Rosal appeared for his arraignment this afternoon in Judge Jonathan Kwan's courtroom. However, due to a conflict, the court-appointed Assistant Public Defender Attorney David Highsmith said he has to withdraw.
We're going to be compelled to use information gleaned in a previous representation of this person against him in this particular case.
Mr. Highsmith, so just so I'm aware and understand, you don't have a conflict with another defendant, you have a conflict with a previous representation of this conflict.
To tell the truth, I'm not absolutely sure. I have an unfiled copy of the motion to withdraw.
Judge Kwan requested that the motion to withdraw be filed and scheduled a continuation for November 27th. KUAM reached out to the Attorney General's office, which said the investigation into the death of Sulik is ongoing. He tried to stop a woman from calling the police, but once officers arrived, 29-year-old Clayton Smith was arrested, but not without a struggle. Court documents state he was fighting with one victim in a home and then went upstairs to tell a second victim he wanted her to leave. Fearing Smith would hit her again, the second victim tried to call police. That's when he tried to grab her phone. While the first victim tried to get in between the two, Smith allegedly punched the second victim and then dragged her by her feet at the top of the stairs. The first victim then called the police. When they arrived, Smith refused to surrender. Police kicked down a door and used a taser to arrest him. He was charged with interfering with the reporting of family violence, 2 counts of family violence, violation of a court order, resisting arrest, and harassment. More details emerge on the detainee who escaped from the Department of Corrections Hagåtña detention facility on Tuesday morning. Court documents state several detainees were being monitored in the courtyard. At about 7:11 a.m., a vendor van arrived carrying breakfast for the facility. But as a corrections officer was about to secure the gate, he observed detainee Patrick Hernandez run past him at a high rate of speed onto Chalan Santo Papa. The officer tried to run after Hernandez but failed to catch him. Police say later that morning around 9 o'clock, another corrections officer received a phone call from Hernandez's mother. She said her son asked her to pick him up in the Maina area. Police then located him at the Maina Church Social Hall, where he was taken into custody. Hernandez was charged with 1 count of escape from custody as a third-degree felony. Closing arguments in the Civil Service Commission case of fired State Historic Preservation Officer Linda Uggan were held this morning. Management argued Uggan was insubordinate and created a hostile work environment, but her defense countered that the firing was both personal and political. Chris Barnett has more.
She was fired from the Department of Parks and Recreation after she was issued her first adverse action in 35 years of GovGuam service. Former State Historic Preservation Officer Linda Uggan fired by Parks and Rec head Rich Ibanez in June for allegedly using a GovGuam vehicle for personal use, but management alleged in investigating the incident they discovered Uggan had a history of butting heads with her employees.
4 employees filed written complaints regarding this hostile environment.
Assistant AG Matt Wolf also argued that Uggan was insubordinate to Ibanez on several occasions, but that the department only needed 1 instance to rightfully terminate her. Wolf also arguing that Uggan used a government vehicle to take her staff to lunch at Chamorro Village. Uggan had previously said it was a working lunch, but Wolf said she had also said the lunch was, quote, just for lunch. But Administrative Law Judge Eric Miller disagreed.
Just for the purpose of going to lunch. She actually said that.
True.
Unless she perjured herself on the record. I mean, she said that. It wasn't me.
But sometimes just going to lunch might have a business purpose.
Right. I mean, I'm not the trier of fact.
There was a lot of discord in that office, for which maybe a social lunch might have been a good managerial cure.
Wolf also argued, as stated in Uggan's final adverse action, that Uggan used an official vehicle to file a grievance against Ibanez. Judge Miller again interrupted Wolf when Wolf characterized the filing of that grievance as personal.
Is it a personal grievance or is it an official grievance?
It was personal grievances.
But it's pursuant to the personnel rules and regulations for the government forum.
Right.
She wasn't delivering a private letter to a person. She was doing what she was supposed to do as a government employee, which is if she has a grievance, she should put it in writing and submit it.
Right, but I believe personal grievances are personal matters with an AL, not EL. So you're supposed to,
This would be a personnel matter. She had a complaint about something in the office, and she was processing it through GovLaw. Why wouldn't that be appropriate for use of the official vehicle?
Wolf closed by calling Uggan highly intelligent but a deeply flawed worker who crossed the line one too many times. Meanwhile, Attorney Bell argued that Uggan's firing violated GovGuam personnel rules and regs because it was both personal and political. He cited an incident in Uggan's final adverse action that alleged she drove an official vehicle in through the parking lot exit at Chamorro Village. Bell argued that the complainant in this incident, Mark Colby, was used by management to bolster their reasons for firing Uggan, even though his account of events differed from DPR employees interviewed about the incident.
Mr. Colby's first story was quite a whopper. At one point, he had Linda driving the car, coming from the opposite direction of management's version, and going between 30 and 50 miles per hour into the parking lot. He admitted to being upset with the government over some land issues just before the incident.
Colby's family had been in a dispute with GovGuam over access rights to the Menengan Memorial property. Bell closed by saying there was clear evidence politics and personal issues were at play in Uggan's firing.
You have heard evidence that there was involvement, if not pressure, from the governor's office regarding what are necessarily political issues, given Linda's role and controversial stands with the military buildup, related projects, as well as evidence that suggests Patrick Lujan was handpicked in advance to replace her for personal reasons.
Miller advised Wolf and Bell that he would be issuing a written decision in the case. For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
Guam has joined in a lawsuit against several of the country's largest generic drug manufacturers. The lawsuit alleges that the company secretly conspired to artificially inflate and manipulate the prices of over 100 generic medications, ranging from antibiotics and anti-inflammatory creams to medication used to treat cancer, diabetes, and epilepsy. The lawsuit, led by Connecticut Attorney General William Tong, has been joined by Guam AG Levin Camacho and 51 attorneys general from across the U.S. AG Camacho is seeking damages and remedies on behalf of Guam consumers. The lawsuit is still in its early stages and the investigative process is still ongoing. Police continue to aid the Education Department with the School Resource Officers Program. Meanwhile, GDOE Superintendent John Fernandez says a solicitation was issued last week and they're waiting to receive proposals. Here's more.
Thankful for the Guam Police Department, GDOE Superintendent John Fernandez says the officers providing an interim presence on campus has been helpful in securing the public high schools. This comes after the Guam Judiciary decided to not move forward with the School Resource Officers Program's extension. That expired on September 30th. According to Fernandez, there were a couple reasons the department believed the Guam Judiciary did not want to extend.
One of the issues is that we're aware of some of the challenges that judiciaries had, that we've had in executing the program. The cost of personnel on that side has been difficult to meet under the grant that we receive. Second, there's some issues that arrive and that have come up in implementation of the program in terms of what the judiciary employees can do versus what police officers and law enforcement can do when responding to a situation.
A situation such as confiscating and possessing contraband and then turning it over to law enforcement. Fernandez states that those nuances get lost in the big scheme of things, and it has created some problems and challenges.
I think at the end of the day, they decided that they'll go in a different direction. It may not be on top of their list as a priority given the other issues that they want to address.
GDOE's goal is to have 14 SROs with at least one at every secondary school. Fernandez adds that the program also includes a mentoring and counseling aspect that will be fulfilled when the full service is in place. Until then, GPD will remain on the school grounds. According to GPD Chief Steve Ignacio, the officers assumed the position during the first week of October.
The number of officers fluctuates on the number of officers available, but what we do is provide coverage to each high school. And so we're there based on a conversation we've had with the Department of Education. We're there during lunchtime, and either when the kids come in the morning or when they're leaving in the afternoon for the end of the day.
Chief Ignacio says the department's patrol officers' manpower has not been affected because they are using the Special Operations Division, Highway Patrol, and Juvenile Investigation officers to meet these safety needs. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Adriana Cotero.
GDOE's Interscholastic Sports Association welcomes the IIAAG's participation in the forthcoming launch of their new sports league. GDOE's ISA League is expected to kick off in January. Superintendent Fernandez says we want to thank the IIAAG for its support, and we look forward to hosting a very competitive season during the third quarter. The IIAAG's decision to participate was announced earlier this week at a special meeting between the two bodies. According to the release from GDOE, the IIAAG board recommended dropping softball and rugby from their third quarter sports, but the department says they will be offering those sports for competition for schools with teams. GDOE removed itself from the IIAAG earlier this year. Former Education Board member James Lujan championed the effort, which was approved by the board. Lujan has since moved off island. A teacher at George Washington High School was detailed to the Guam Department of Education's central office. According to GDOE spokesperson Isa Baza, this is pending the completion of an investigation into alleged misconduct. KUAM has learned that a senior at the school sent a letter to GWA's main office addressing concerns with a specific teacher alleging illegal fundraising in the classroom. The letter was sent back in May. KUAM asked Baza to confirm the teacher's name and if the alleged misconduct is in relation to the letter. As of news time, we have yet to receive a response. Stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
We value relationships because when we commit,
I love you guys until you're 80, until you're 90, until you're 100, forever.
We are in it for the long run, so you can enjoy the moments that matter. Because when we commit to relationships, we never stop caring. Calvo's Select Care, health care that is always there for you. Federal employees and annuitants enroll today.
Yo, Jay, you sure you want to be washing your car right now, man?
Not now, Kev. I'm watching Betsy, and she has to be spotless, bro.
Clouds are coming in fast.
It looks fine to me. Look again. It looks fine, Kevin. It looks fine.
You know what makes more sense than Guam's weather? Using your Bank of Guam credit card at any Shell station to save 6% on gas purchases. Call, click, or visit for more details. Make more sense. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
It's a special delivery to your inbox every week with your KUAM News Roundup, program advisories, and promotions. Sign up for the weekly KUAM Digital Digest today on KUAM.com.
Welcome back. The Guam Economic Development Authority wants to continue to hand out special tax incentives to prospective developers in order to grow our bread and butter tourism industry. GIDA is seeking to extend for another 2 years a special hotel qualifying certificate program which expires next month. GIDA CEO Melanie Mendiola says one of the keys to growing the tourism industry is to grow the number of hotel rooms. With a goal to add another 1,600 rooms, a law was passed 5 years ago to give tax credits to developers to build new hotels. But so far, just 340 rooms have been built, with 500 more possible in the next year or so. That's why Mendiola says they're seeking the legislature's concurrence to extend the special hotel QC program through 2021.
The cost of doing business here is a little bit greater because of bringing in building materials, because you have to ship it here versus truck it here. And so I think that anything we can do to incentivize them to make that investment to come here is a positive thing.
The special hotel QC is different from past years when companies would enjoy rebates over as many as 20 years. Mendiola says the special program involves breaks on a percentage of investment that can be applied to business privilege taxes over a shorter period.
When we look at it, it's more of a front-loaded, meaning all of the incentives are given at the start of the program to encourage the build-up. But then once the hotel's built, once the hotel's in operation, we're not looking at benefits that go all the way out till 20 or 30 years beyond even the useful life of the property, right?
Mendiola says the use of tax incentives to stimulate investment is growing in the states, similar to Guam's QC program that's been in place for decades.
If the public has input and says these are industries we want to keep, or these are industries we want to grow, then I think a tax incentive program is an incredibly effective tool to get that to happen.
Mendiola has written to Speaker Tina Muñoz-Barnes seeking the legislature's concurrence to extend the program. The GIDA board has final approval. And switching now to regional headlines, here's KSPN 2 News.
Hafa Guam, here are the headlines for CNMI.
It is International Education Week, and at the Northern Marianas College, the staff and students embrace the diversity they have on campus and highlight some of their best treats.
For today, the event here, we have an international food fest. So students from our international student services program prepared some meals, things that they traditionally eat at home and are representative of their cultures and their families and their community. And they brought it out today to share with the rest of the student body and the entire NMC community. So we have cultures represented from Chinese culture, Filipino cultures, Korean, Japanese, and more cultures as well.
International Education Week is an opportunity to celebrate the benefits of international education and exchange worldwide. NMC has been part of the celebration since 2015, showcasing the variety of cultures in the student body.
Usually it's celebrated every third week of November. And so last year we weren't able to do it because of Typhoon U2. So we really wanted to make sure that we're able to do that, to also celebrate our international students here at NMC.
At NMC, there are more than 50 international students enrolled.
The importance of celebrating different cultures is our ability to embrace diversity. We come from different backgrounds, we come from different areas of the world, but at the end of the day, we're one family here at NMC. And so we want to be able to celebrate that and encourage diversity and inclusion, not only on campus, but in the community.
NMC will be having other events throughout the week to celebrate International Education Week, like karaoke night, where students may teach one another songs from their country. This is Ali Lemis for KSPN News.
For more news, visit saipantv.com. For KSPN2 News, I'm Ashley McDowell.
The president of the Guam Chamber of Commerce says local businesses are taking a big hit from recent increases by the legislature to the business privilege tax and high-ticket real estate. In her year-end address, Catherine Castro used the chamber as an example of how the economy is suffering, saying companies are forced to tighten their belts and they now have 39 less members.
Many of our small businesses are struggling. They are having to restructure, lay people off, cut benefits so they can keep their businesses afloat. Our big businesses, they've had to tighten their belts as well, make changes to how they do business to keep their doors open. We haven't even talked about the new minimum wage increase and how this is going to impact doing business on our small island.
The chamber says heading into an election year, there are plans to address the issues that are hurting business. Meanwhile, new members were voted in today in the annual board elections. They are Christopher Duenas, CFO of Triple J Enterprises, Tom Shimizu, General Manager of Ambrose Inc., Mika Caldwell, Vice President of Archway Inc., Candy Okuhama, Executive Vice President and Director of Sales at ASC Trust, Ernie Galito, Marketing Communications Director for Atkins Curl, and Juan Carlos Benitez, President of the Washington Pacific Economic Development Group. The two alternate members are Jessica Barrett, President of Barrett Enterprises, and Mindy Uggan, CEO and Editor-in-Chief of the Guam Daily Post. Is it a sign of the times? The new rules and regulations for digital signage in Tumon are now on the governor's desk. The legislature passed the bill this week to guide companies who want to update their outdoor on-premise signs. Guam Visitors Bureau President Pilar Laguana says they support the measure, which they believe will help upgrade the look of the tourist district.
We are pleased with the compromise and the ability to have some restrictions so that it doesn't get out of hand like big cities. But I think we can work within our parameters and, see that Guam becomes a more refreshed destination for our visitors. We do have a need to reinvent our marketing presence to the world and to be relevant and to be modern. And so I think that I don't think the intention was to look like Vegas or even Ginza or major cities.
The sign bill was sponsored by Speaker Tina Muñoz Barnes, with 4 out of the 13 senators voting no. During several days of debate, there were multiple amendments as critics of the measure expressed concern that the signs not create eyesores or overwhelm the tourist district. Sports is next. Keep it right here.
Make every day a plus.
Matson is in this community. We've been in this community for decades. We're gonna be in this community for decades to come. Things will get busy, things will get quiet, but we're gonna be here. We're your hometown carrier. And that matters to us.
Reliability is the core of our business. We take pride in ensuring that we arrive in Guam on time as scheduled.
It's our local employees who understand the market, who understand the business, and provide that hard work for you each and every day.
When we hold ourselves to high standards, our customers also hold us to high standards. We establish good business relationships that turn into friendships. That's why it's so important to be here and be trusted by your customers. We want you to trust Matson like your friend, like your family.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching in studio. Powerlifter Desiree EA, we're catching up with your most recent trip to Las Vegas. Second time competing there. Tell us about the show and the division you competed in.
So this one is called the North American Championships, USPA North American Championships. So this is a national competition. The one I did last year was also a national one, but a completely different meet. I competed this time around in two different divisions, the 56 kilo open and then 56 kilo submaster.
And let's talk about the medals. You brought home some hardware.
Yes, I did. So I took first place in 56 kilo open, first place in 56 kilo submaster, and I actually ended up walking away with the overall, the women's overall, which was kind of a surprise.
And a PR for the deadlift this time around.
Yeah, so a PR, platform PR. So obviously I've hit that number, the 402 deadlift in the gym, but I haven't hit that on the platform yet. So that was kind of cool to finally do that in competition. That was kind of huge. Yeah, it was a big moment for me.
And the cool thing too, you had somebody in your corner slap in the back that got you motivated.
Yeah, so that was kind of funny because I just saw her. Her name is Stacy Burr. If you're a powerlifter, you know who she is. She's very, very well known, a very successful powerlifter. But she was kind of in the back helping, I guess, one of her athletes. And I was like completely starstruck. I could not breathe for like a good 10 seconds. But as we were warming up, she ended up just kind of helping me out. And then she was like helping me out like on the platform as well. So that was really cool for me.
This time around, being your second competition in Las Vegas, did you find it a little bit more convenient knowing your way around there and the support system in place?
Well, I didn't, in terms of like it being in Vegas and having competed in Vegas before, it wasn't, I mean, there wasn't much of a difference there, but this time around what was different was definitely the support group. My brother and his girlfriend came out, my boyfriend came out with me. I had some people who used to live here on Guam who are now in the States, but they flew over to Vegas just to watch. So I had a huge support system there, and then of course everyone here at home was supporting me. But I think this time around what my advantage was it was my fifth meet, you know, so I was still nervous, and I think I'll always be nervous going into competition, but because I had 4 meets under my belt going into this one, I knew what to expect. I was a little, you know, I was a little more calm. So it was a lot more enjoyable for me this time.
And as far as totals and numbers, where does that put you?
Hopefully keeps me at the top. You know, for 2018, I was able to make the top 10 in the world for my weight class, which was pretty cool. So hopefully my total still keeps me in that ranking. If not, I still qualify for every single meet for next year. I'm in a good place. I'm at an international elite ranking, and I mean, that was a big win for me. So.
All right, well, good luck in your future. Thanks for coming on the show. That's going to do it for sports. We're back right after this.
Mark is the best husband and father you could ask for. Right, mi amor?
My brother, he's just a big kid.
Great guy. Best man at my wedding. Just gotta keep him off the dance floor.
Uncle Mark's the best. He taught me how to seal a bass.
He stopped by yesterday just to chat.
Honestly, this place would fall apart without him.
We wouldn't have gotten 4 without you.
Because we do everything for you.
For all the conversations.